Anybody got it? How did you get it?
It's still showing, Carla, that the livelihood will begin in a few minutes.
I just hit, it's live streaming according to this.
We good?
Try it and see. Hang on just a second, David.
Okay.
It's
Testing.
maybe a new.
Chris, this one.
Got it.
Oh, it's on the side, sir. On the other.
Yeah. I had to close it and reopen.
Okay, and then just hit record when you're ready. You're good. You're good.
Okay, good morning. Today's date is March 23rd, 2020. This is Hale County Commissioners Court. The time is about 9:08 a.m. I'd like to welcome everyone here to our meeting this morning. The first item on our agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance and our invocation by Commissioner King. So if you would please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for granting us another day on this earth and keeping us safe. Protect us as we go through the COVID-19 outbreak and give us your guidance as we go through it into the future, as we know not what the future holds for us. But please keep us safe. Please keep our armed forces men and women safe as they protect us here on this soil. These and other things we pray in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen. Okay. The next item on our agenda is to approve our minutes of the regular meetings for March 9th and our special meetings on March 9th and on March 13th of 2020. We've had a copy of those. Do I hear a motion that we approve these minutes as written?
I'll make that motion good.
Motion made by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Commissioner Kelly. Is there any discussion on the minutes? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Our next item on the agenda is the auditor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The first thing I have two budget amendments. Well, I actually have 4 budget amendments. But the first one is to recognize unbudgeted revenue for our VINE grant, which is our state automated victims notification system for the first quarter reimbursement. And that amount is $4,654.72, and that's to recognize the revenue.
Okay. You've heard the request from the auditor on a budget amendment to recognize the revenue on the VINE account in the amount of $4,654.72. Do I hear a motion that we approve that?
Also move.
Motion made by Commissioner King. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Cornell. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Okay, the second budget amendment is also regarding what we refer to as our system automated victims notification service, and this is to recognize the expense, the unbudgeted expense for that first quarter payment, and that amount is $4,654.72.
Okay, this is basically the expense side of the revenue that we just did, so do I hear a motion that we approve this expense in the amount of $4,654.72?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
Okay. My next budget amendment is to recognize unbudgeted expense for the TERT's first quarter payment to the city of Plainview. And this is for that area that's designated ad valorem cost or revenue for the downtown improvements. And our part is 75% of that amount. So the amount that we're paying out of the county portion is $2,942.65. We have already collected the ad valorem for that, so this is where we're just paying the expense because it was unbudgeted.
Okay, so you've heard the explanation of this expense report. Do I hear a motion that we, on TERT's, approve the amount of $2,942.65 in the expense side of this budget amendment? Motion made by Commissioner Kelly. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner King. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
Okay. My last budget amendment is also to recognize unbudgeted expense, and this is for the TERTs for the first quarter payment to the city of Plainview. And this comes out of the general road and bridge part, the farm to market. This is that amount, and it's $1.42.
Okay, you've heard the amount to come out of the road and bridge in the amount of $1.42. Do I hear a motion that we approve this budget amendment?
I'll make that motion, Judge.
Motion made by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
Okay, my next item is to discuss and approve payment of an invoice for fiscal year 2019. And that invoice is to the city of Plainview for our 50% of our community development business park expenditures that were for October 1st through December 31st of 2019. And that the total invoice amount is $434,303.72. And I will be putting towards that amount $38,094.62, which is the remainder of our bond funds. And then the additional amount that is needed is $396,209.10. And I am asking the court to authorize me to pay that out of the general fund, because the only line item I have to pay this from is out of the general fund in our non-departmental miscellaneous expense, which is 010-409-4399. And I'm asking for your authorization to do that, to pay that remainder out of, make sure I word this correctly, to do line item transfers into this line item from the existing FY 2019 budget. And I'm still working on our year-end process.
Yes.
So once I have those exact line items where I would be putting that additional funds from, I will bring that line item transfer back to court and have you officially authorize that, approve that line item transfer.
Okay, you've heard from Melinda on this, and I've got the final amount. What she's asking for today is a line item transfer of $396,209.10 to pay toward the business park project. Do I hear a motion that we approve this amount?
Is this extra on top of what
Now, Judge, was that the total, or was that
That is the total. She told us in
Back up to 38,000.
that's minus the 38,000
Okay.
because the original bill was 434,303.72. So you minus the 38,000, and it comes out to 396,209.10.
Mhm.
So do I hear a motion that we approve this amount?
I also move, Judge.
Motion made by Commissioner King. Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right. If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right, our next item on the agenda, we'll hear from the treasurer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I'm gonna pass these out, if you could just pass them forward to. Okay, I have the financial statement for February 29th of 2020. If y'all go to page 3, the monthly closing balance is $24,175,908.27. I hereby certify that this report is true and correct and request that you place it in the minutes.
Okay, you've heard the financial report ending February 29, 2020. The closing monthly balance was $24,175,908.27. Do I hear a motion that we approve this report?
I'll make that motion, Judge.
Motion made by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion?
How has the majority of ad valorem taxes been paid for 19?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you'll notice, basically in the general fund, Fund 10, the receivables was $3,082,884.36. Is for it, basically the bigger amount went into. We've got other funds, but that's the bigger chunk of it.
All right. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
Did y'all have one to pass by? If you don't, this should be my original.
Why don't you start signing that one, Jimmy, and pass it around?
Okay. Okay, Judge, my next item, can I go forward?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my next item is the affidavit, just stating that the court has received, reviewed, and approved the financial to be placed in the newspaper.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we allow the report and the affidavit to be placed in the newspaper?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
I'll have to, thank
All right,
you.
thank you, ma'am. All right, the next item we have is, falls under my section. We received a thank you from Wayland Baptist University as far as the contribution that we have made to them for the museum. I believe that's through this contribution, so there'll be no action needed on that. Just note that we did receive a thank you note from Wayland Baptist University. The next item is to discuss and approve the Edmondson Volunteer Fire Department 2019 annual report and authorize the payment of the fiscal year 2020 allocation of $12,500. Their report from January of 19 through December of 19, they responded to 2 house fires, 7 grass fires, 2 electrical fires, and 3 burr fires. And this report was submitted by their chief, David Block. Do I hear a motion that we would approve their 2019 report, and also in that same motion to allocate the $12,500 to the department?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Kelly. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. The next item I have is the UMC EMS response for the 3rd and 4th quarter of 2019. The 3rd quarter responses, they had 4 total responses, 3 inside the designated area, 1 outside the designated area. Their 4th quarter report had a total response of 13, 8 within the designated area, and 5 outside the designated area. Do I hear a motion that we would approve this report from UMC EMS for the 3rd and 4th quarters of 2019?
Also move.
Motion made by Commissioner King. Do I hear second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. The next item I have is to reappoint members to the Hale County Hospital Authority Board. The list of members that their term runs out on March 31st, 2020. Those individuals are Kyle Benson, Sue Llewellyn, Gary Massengale, Sharon Wright, Donald Dixon, and Tim Hartage. And each one has consented to serve a 2-year term beginning April 1st of 2020 and ending March 31st of 2022. Do I hear a motion that we would approve these directors and reappoint them to this board?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Kelly. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, our next item, we heard from Caprock Plumbing on Friday. He explained to us some of our situations that we have over in our annex building with the heaters over there that due to the age of the heaters, I think he said they were 27 years old, they're leaking, and they're located up in the attic of the buildings that we use over there. And he gave a proposal to repair our existing furnaces over there for a cost of $5,090. Or he gave a quote to replace the 2 furnaces for a price of $8,750.
And Judge, I believe this included all the venting, reventing, everything. I think the venting was a big part of the problem.
Okay, he put on his job scope for the replacement. He said, remove and dispose the old furnaces, install new gas furnace connecting back to existing cooling coils, duct and gas connections. Set new furnaces in pan, install pan, overflow switch to kill units if the condensation backs up in the pan. Connecting to existing thermostats, electrical at furnace location. New pipe and air, new air and flue pipe, and a city inspection. So that's what he has included in the price of the new furnaces. So is there a motion that we install the new furnaces, or do y'all want to repair the existing furnaces?
I'd make a motion, we replace both furnaces with the new ones.
Okay. Have a motion to replace both furnaces at the Annex building. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Any discussion? All right, if not, all those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
You do need to designate where you are paying that from,
Okay,
and probably Fund 11, permanent improvement.
okay. All right. So will your motion include with the payment of this out of Fund 11?
Yes.
And will your second reflect that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, any other discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. And then, last week we did a declaration of disaster. And you each received a copy of that. I may call Jim up to answer any questions or explain what he can explain. First of all, I'd like to be on the record to say what a good job Jim has done. Last week was very unique, to say the least. So, and everything was real fluid. So by the time we would start addressing one situation, everything would change. So Jim's to be commended for his diligence in getting this done. So, Jim, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, Judge, thank you very much. And as you know, the judge declared a disaster last week, local disaster last week, and that is good for up to 7 days unless the court approves it. And so what we've got this morning, and I think if I remember correctly from last week, I put a copy of this in y'all's boxes. That may or may not be the case the way last week went, but it is a resolution that ratifies that declaration and continues it. And basically the resolution doesn't have any, it just refers back to the declaration, and the declaration's attached to an exhibit incorporated. Now y'all can, if there's any particular way you want to change the declaration, then we can do that. We'd have to redraw the resolution a little bit. That's not a problem, but y'all have the power to, of course, you have the power not to approve it, and in a couple of days we'll be back to square one, or you can ratify it as is, or if there's something y'all want to change, you can do that. And of course, the declaration, and I have to confess that most of the work on this was done by the city attorney late on Thursday afternoon after Governor Abbott came out with his updated declaration. And this follows really all of the governor's guidelines and orders that he set out last Thursday as far as the groups, social gatherings of 10, closing down restaurants for in-house dining and bars and all that, and the gyms and some other places like that. Now, there is an exception in this. We did put in an exception for public and private schools because we felt like the schools have a lot of issues that we aren't really familiar with. Of course, the governor has closed them for 2 weeks anyway, so that's not really a problem at this point. But as far as the ability of the students this year to receive credit and pass on to the next grade and stuff like that, I have no idea what's involved in that. So we wanted to give them some leeway to be able to operate like they need to. And then, of course, there's some exceptions for grocery stores, office buildings, hotels, things like that really can't. Of course, obviously hospitals and the jail. So places we can't shut down and can't really limit the number of people as well. So and that we did put a exception in for places of worship with the hope that, of course, that our churches and whatever other places of worship we might be dealing with will be good citizens and not be in a large group of people on Sunday morning or some other time. So, and I think most of them, looking at Facebook yesterday, most of them were online, so which is good. y'all have any questions or.
Jim, for the record, how long would this declaration disaster be good for?
It'll basically, if y'all approve it, it'll basically, I mean, you can put, that's something you could change. You could say we're gonna end it on X date. Right now, it would continue, but I put in there that y'all would revisit it on April 13th, which is y'all's first meeting in April. And I think, I mean, that's kind of where all of the, a lot of the closures of the schools and things are sort of, you know, regrouping and gonna review things, and see where we are then. From what I see on the news, I think that's probably pretty optimistic.
Some of the schools are closing till summer.
Have we had any updates from the governor since about Thursday?
No, I don't believe so. I'm trying to think. I think there was something, but I don't think it really affected.
I think the only thing he did after his initial deal was close the border except
Right, that may be
commercial
what I'm
traffic.
thinking about. Yeah.
And so, any questions of Jim? I don't have to read all this, do I, Jim? Do we need it read for in the record, or I know lots of times when we do those
Well, it might be good.
whereases and whereases, I have to read it, so.
That would probably be good.
Okay, we all stand. Y'all be patient with me then. Whereas the coronavirus COVID-19 has been recognized as a pandemic by the World Health Organization and is a contagious respiratory virus. And whereas the governor of the state of Texas, Greg Abbott, issued a statewide disaster proclamation on March 13, 2020, certifying that COVID-19 poses an imminent threat of disaster to all counties within the state of Texas. And whereas as of March 19, 2020, there are no confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Hale County, Texas. There are more than 83 confirmed cases of COVID-19 located in multiple Texas counties, including 3 confirmed cases in the adjoining Lubbock County. And whereas COVID-19 continues to spread and pose an imminent threat of widespread or severe illness, injury, or loss of life, requiring emergency action and represents a public health disaster according to the Texas Department of Health Services. And whereas Hale County has already taken numerous steps to provide for COVID-19, such as coordinating preparedness efforts with officials of municipalities within Hale County and the local health authority to promote appropriate prevention and mitigation efforts. Whereas the governor of the state of Texas on March 19, 2020, issued Executive Order GA-08, placing restriction on social gatherings, visitation to local food and retail establishments where individuals in large numbers gather. And whereas Executive Order GA-08 also places additional restrictions on visitations to nursing homes, retirement centers, and long-term care facilities, as well as temporary closing schools. And whereas it is critical for the Hale County to take additional steps to prepare for, respond to, and mitigate the spread of COVID-19 to protect the health and welfare of the citizens of Hale County and the surrounding area. And whereas the President of the United States and the United States Center of Disease Control and Prevention on March 16, 2020 issued COVID-19 guidelines for America, calling upon Americans to slow the spread of COVID-19 by avoiding social gatherings in groups of 10 or more, using drive-through, pickup, or delivery options at restaurants and bars, and avoiding visitation at nursing homes, among other steps. And whereas declaring a state of disaster will facilitate and expedite the use of deployment of resources to enhance preparedness and response. And whereas pursuant to Texas Government Code 418.108 authorizes the county judge as the presiding officer of the Commissioners Court of Hale County, Texas, to issue a declaration of local disaster in order to protect and preserve public health, safety, and welfare. Now therefore be it declared by the county judge of Hale County, Texas, that a local state of disaster, a public health emergency is hereby declared for Hale County, Texas pursuant to Texas Government Code 418-108, Section 8, that there is hereby placed a limit on the size of social gatherings of no more than 10 people and mandates the cancellation of all social gatherings of more than 10 people. That the use of public eating and drinking areas and facilities at bars, restaurants, retail eating establishment, and food courts, and visiting gyms or massage parlors is prohibited, provided, however, that the use of drive-through pickup or delivery services of restaurant, retail eating establishments, and food courts is permitted and highly encouraged during this term of this declaration. That the limitation on the size of social gatherings applies to any event that brings together or is likely to bring together 10 or more persons at the same time in a single room or other single confined or enclosed space, such as, without limitation, any auditorium, theater, stadium, indoor or outdoor, arena or event center, meeting hall, the civic center, conference center, cafeteria, and any other confined indoor or outdoor space, provided, however, it does not apply to the following: A, public or private schools; B, licensed daycare facilities; C, weddings and funerals; D, museums, and so long as visitors are generally not within an arm's length of one another for extended periods; E, spaces where 10 or more persons may be in transit or waiting for transit, such as bus stops; F, office space, hotels, and residential buildings; G, grocery stores, shopping malls, outdoor markets, and other retail establishments where a large number of people are present, but where it is unusual for them to be within arm's length of one another for extended periods; H, hospital, medical facilities and shelters; and I, jails and detention centers. That the limitation of the size of social gatherings does not apply to places of worship, but all such places of worship are highly encouraged to voluntarily comply with the limitations provided in the declaration. That pursuant to 418.108B of the Texas Government Code, this declaration of local disaster shall continue for a period of not more than 7 days from the date of declaration, unless continued or renewed by the Commissioners Court of Hale County, Texas. That pursuant to 418.108D of the Texas Government Code, this declaration of local disaster activates the emergency management plan for Hale County. That pursuant to 418.108C of the Texas Government Code, this declaration of disaster shall be given prompt and general publicity and shall be filed promptly with the County Clerk of Hale County. That this declaration authorizes Hale County to take any actions necessary to promote the health and suppress the COVID-19 virus, including the quarantine of persons and occupied structures, examining and regulating hospitals, regulating ingress and egress from Hale County. That Hale County and the county judge are authorized to use all available resources in Hale County reasonably necessary to comply with this declaration. That for all gatherings, it is strongly recommended that citizens adhere to the social distancing protocols established by the United States Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. That pursuant to 418.173 of the Texas Government Code, any person who knowingly or intentionally violates this declaration commits an offense punishable by a fine up to $1,000 or confinement in a jail term that does not exceed 180 days. That this declaration shall take effect at 11:59 p.m. on March 19, 2020, and continue until renewed, extended, amended, or canceled on its own terms or by the Commissioners Court of Hale County. So ordered, this the 19th day of March 2020. So, any questions of Jim or any questions about the declaration? any changes or modifications that y'all would want to make?
Does the date need to reflect the day we pass it on, or is it?
There's
is
a
correct?
separate resolution, like I say, that'll be attached to this, and it just says well, I mean, right now it says you're adopting that as it stands.
Okay.
And then it would be signed as of today.
Okay, so looking for a motion to approve the declaration and to extend it to, I'm assuming, the April 13th date, if not before, if...
And technically, it would, unless you do something on April 13th, it would continue in effect until you take action to cancel it.
Okay, then let's just leave the April 13th date out of it. Let's extend it until the period in which it is no longer needed, and then whether that be April 13th or whenever we can call a special meeting if we need to, and to retract it. So do I hear a motion that we approve this declaration extension?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Are there any further discussions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, our next item, we had an emergency meeting on Friday at 4 to discuss the operation of county buildings and offices during COVID-19. And I think I'll summarize, and then we can either take action on it or we voted Friday to take action on it, so I don't know if we need to re-vote on it or not. But basically what we've done is we've closed each door at the county offices, directing public access to one particular location in which the bailiff will meet an individual at that location. They will discuss their nature of business that they need, and they will be either, if that nature of business requires that they be admitted, they would be admitted then, or they would be encouraged to either call the county office that they need to work with, or be given an email address to contact that county office in which they need to conduct business. And that was my take on that. Is there anything further? And of course, any kind of electronic filing that can be done in our clerk's offices, that's encouraged to do, and things like that. But is there anything else that needs to be added to that?
And the location you're talking about is going to be the basement doors, right, Trish, as they come in?
In this building at 500 Broadway, it will be at the basement door. There, right at the parking lot on the south side. And so, like I said, we're still open, we're still operating, we're still conducting business. So we encourage anyone that needs to do business with Hale County to reach out to us. And I have given the bailiffs down there a list of departments that are within this building, and also the commissioners with your office phone numbers and emails, and so that if someone appears and they'll be given that information. So if I could just remind you to check your voicemails and your emails frequently to see if there's any correspondence for you. Any other questions? All right, I don't think we need any voting on that. Well, that's just for information's sake. So we approved that on Friday. So our next item on the agenda this morning is our county attorney.
Hello again. What I have next this morning is for y'all to consider and approve the agreement, the economic development grant agreement between Hale County and what is now known as Intersect LLC. It was Oxy Low Carbon Ventures, and I guess they didn't like that name and changed it. So, and of course, this is for the economic development grant to be given to them. It's a joint venture between Occidental Petroleum and White Energy to construct a $39 million carbon dioxide gathering facility out at the ethanol plant, and then to put that into a pipeline down to the Permian Basin and use it to inject into oil wells to increase their production. I think they call that tertiary recovery. So it's coming in after it's produced for a while and trying to scrape every little bit they can get out. So. Like I said on Friday, this is basically is the same type of agreement we had with GE for the wind turbine components coming through. They have to pay their ad valorem property taxes to us and to all the other entities in Hale County that they might owe those to, and then we have a certain number of days after that to remit whatever percentage in that year to Intersect. And that's, of course, on a 10-year term and with a reduction in the percentage each year. I guess we have 2 years at 90, 2 at 80, 2 at 70, on down to 50% the last 2 years. And there is a provision in there if they cease, if they default in any way or cease production out there, commercial production, then they would enter a breach of the contract, then they would owe us the last 3 payments that they received.
Okay. Is there any questions of Jim? If not, then like I said, this is to consider and approve an economic development grant agreement between Hale County and Intersect, and authorize the county attorney to forward this agreement to Intersect, authorizing the county judge to execute the agreement. Do I hear a motion of that?
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you, Jim.
Thank y'all.
Harold, would you mind asking Ms. Davidson to step in? Speak up. Okay.
I'm getting the video.
Here at the podium, Cynthia, and if you would, that's our mic, so if you would just speak clearly,
Speak
I
up.
think it can hear you.
Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I presented to all of you before.
Just for the record, Cynthia,
Oh,
if you
sorry.
would state your name.
Yeah, Cynthia Davidson. I'm the volunteer director of Paws Pet Adoption here in Plainview. And we are an agency that has been in place since 2014 out at the Plainview shelter. I do have a handout as to what we've accomplished since we started back in 2014. What I'm here for today is we have an opportunity to help with the stray population in Plainview and Hale County. So I'm not talking just about city limits, but I'm talking about really most of Hale County if we want to take it that far. We have a spay-neuter contract with the state of Texas. And this is the 3rd year of that contract. I want to make clear, though, that it is a reimbursement grant. And so we have to, of course, pay the vets before we get our money back. We are limited in vet participation. So we reached out to a mobile vet that has been doing events down in the Midland, Odessa area. It's a mobile vet out of the DFW area. And they are interested in coming to our community. These would be it would be like a multi-day event. It's low cost, and my second handout for you today is the pricing for their services. And they would come out, their minimum is they would like to be out here for 2 days, fix 100 animals each day. And what we have to provide locally is a space. And so what I'm here for today is to request that we be allowed to use the Ollie Minor Center. We think that would be convenient. It would have plenty of parking. It has to be climate controlled. And we would request to waive a fee. I mean, we're a pretty poor organization, and this is not a fundraising event for us. This is to benefit the community, save us some tax money, and help out the people of Plainview and Hale County. They could come for more than 2 days if we thought we could schedule that many animals. They could come regularly if we wanted them to. They've gone down to Midland, Odessa area, I think 3 times now, and they were over there just a few weeks ago, and one of our volunteers went down on a Sunday to observe the operation, just so we could get some ideas of what's required. So we need space. If we have some local vet techs, and the vet program would pay those people hourly, and then of course just volunteers to assist with all the services. I think this would be a wonderful event and a way to, in a large way, address some of the overpopulation issue. And if it goes well, I mean, really, they could come over every couple of months if we felt like we wanted to do that. I guess it depends on how much work and effort and participation, or we could do a once-a-year type thing. But we all know that there are an abundance of stray animals. There's some of them are running in packs, some of them are dangerous, and spaying and neutering really is the only way to start addressing that problem, because otherwise we're just filling up the shelter, they're being put down, and then we're filling it up again, and we're going to get nowhere with that type of strategy. And even our success at PAWS, I mean, our biggest way of saving the animals is to send them out to other rescues. And that's in a variety of states that I've listed on our information sheet. But again, we send them out, and it fills back up. So that's the request that I'm making for you today. And the grant funds, just to give you an idea of our contract through the state of Texas, this year, we probably have about $8,000 left, I would say. It goes through the end of August. And then they recently contacted us and doubled the amount of the contract for the next fiscal year. So August of 2020 to August of 2021, up to over $25,000. So that is a lot of pets that we could fix. The grant covers all of Hale County. What I would like to do, at least for some of the initial mobile vet event, is focus on Plainview, not just in city limits, but also outside of city limits, and direct our grant funds that way. Anybody can come to the event. It's not restricted by income or anything like that. And then what our grant funds would do for those that we can assist, it's a $20 copay for the owner. And then if they have to get a rabies shot, they pay for that, and then the grant funds would pick up the rest of the cost. So for example, a female dog who on the price list is $100, the owner would pay $20 plus the rabies, and we would pick up the other $80. And we wouldn't be able to cover everybody participating in that event, but we're gonna come up with as much money as possible. We've set some money aside at this point, $2,000 for something like this. And if we can have other people, some of our volunteers have talked about getting kind of underwriters who would provide the money. We pay the vet, we get the money back from the state, they get their money back. So that's our request today. If there's any questions.
So there's no, of course, with all the events that are occurring now, but you're just asking for the event and for us to approve it for out in the future.
Right. I think because of all the quarantining going on right now, and hard to know how long that's going to go on. I did talk to Benny, and of course some events have been canceled, but you also now have the DFW area that's on a stay-at-home type order, and that's where the vet comes from. But he did have some availability later in May. I could also check June. We're thinking of a Friday, Saturday, unless we have a lot of demand, then maybe we could go Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Or do a 3-day the next time. I just think we want to see what kind of participation can meet their minimum requirement of 2 days, 100 animals a day. We are in contact with the Hale County, or the Hale Center Rescue and the Olton Rescue. And so Olton was really excited about participating, and those are other places we can reach out to get community animals fixed. This is not for, our grant program is not for feral cats. That has to be an entirely separate project, which we have not started yet. So this is for family-owned pets, and cats or dogs.
Any questions of Cynthia?
I think it'll be a good thing.
Yeah. So,
I hope this works out well for you.
We do too. We want to do it one way or another, and
Yeah.
it's the only thing that's going to help. So if you don't like animals, this helps because there'll be fewer. If you love animals, then you're not seeing them out and stray. And I mean, it can be very distressing for people.
yes.
And it's very distressing for us at the shelter trying to make the difference. But we're progressing, and that's what matters.
Well, your numbers, like I said, that you provided for us, you've got those down, especially on the euthanasia, and your adoptions have been pretty constant, so.
Right, and what's making the big difference is the transports out. The Canada rescue up in Toronto has really been our biggest one recently, and because they closed the border, it's been postponed. So we're reaching out to some of our other ones, but again, that's just emptying the bucket and then it's filled back up. So getting to the source of the problem is really what's ultimately going to make a difference.
Okay.
And spay-neuter is the answer.
All right, if there's no other questions of Cynthia, then do I hear a motion that we would allow, let's see here, the paused pet adoption at a future date that would be cleared with Mr. Garcia at the Ollie Liner Center to allow this spay, neuter, and pet services to come to Hale County.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner King. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion?
Judge, in the future, when we do have a date set for this event, just for the record, probably bring it back and give us a date where this is going to happen. That way we'll. That way.
Yeah, we're kind of
covered.
gathering our info at this point, and we know that right now is just not feasible. So we'll just keep our eyes on the news and see when things open up and are safe for everybody to do this.
And I think what she really wanted today was to see that we would be on board with them doing this. And so.
I mean, I'd like this to be a city and a county and just a Hale County. Let's get after this problem.
It'd be great if it became an annual event.
Annual or more frequently if we wanted it to. We want to see how much work this is going to be, how many volunteers this is going to take, and I think once we kind of get it going, and if it's easy enough to put up and take down, then maybe we can do it more frequently.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Yeah.
You're quite
Y'all do a
welcome.
good job out there. So.
Our email is shown on our information sheet, and all of you may know I work for Legal Aid, so please feel free to reach out to me if you have questions or other information you're seeking.
All right, if there's no other.
Judge,
Yes.
I we were just discussing, I don't know if y'all specified, or I assume you're doing this at no charge to pause, but I was just gonna say you might want to include that in the motion.
Would you include the waiving of the fees in your motion,
Include
Harold?
waiving of the fees.
And then your second, you're good with
Yes.
that, Jim? Okay. All right. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, Cynthia, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes. All right, our next item is Commissioner of Precinct 3 to discuss the necessary repairs on the roof to the Annex 1 building.
We have some ongoing problems with the roof on that Annex 1 building. The issue is that it's not draining properly, and as a result of the water standing on it so much, we've developed some splits in the roofing material, making it leak worse. So we have been looking at this problem, and The best way I believe to address it at this time is to cut sections of the roof out around the drainage that is split and replace it. I did take some representatives of Sanchez Roofing with me up there to look at it, and that was their suggestion, and they also indicated that to keep it from having problems like that in the future, they could, while they have this material off, they could make some adjustments to the drainage on it, and hopefully that'll alleviate this problem. In order to do that, they're gonna have to cut out 2 sections around the drainage, approximately 25 foot by 40 foot, and replace the material and then adjust those drains. They indicated they could do that at a cost of $6,000. And I believe that's the best solution we have. The rest of the roof still looks good, so I believe that'll make it repairable for a good while. So I would put in the form of a motion that we allow Sanchez Roofing to make these necessary repairs.
Okay, and this would be paid out of the building and grounds
Yes.
fund? Okay.
Okay, so out of building and grounds, not permanent improvement?
Well, what would you suggest?
Permanent improvement.
Either one.
Permanent improvement, is that where we want to get the money?
Fund 11.
All right, let's do it out of permanent improvement. So we've heard from Kenny and what the issues are on that roof over there, and that Sanchez Roofing has gave us a estimate of $6,000 to help correct and maybe alleviate some of the issues that we have over there. So do I hear a second to Kenny's motion? Second by Commissioner King. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Our next item on the agenda is Commissioner of Precinct 2.
Okay, Judge, this morning on the agenda, I've got to, listed to purchase a backhoe off of the buy board for precinct 2. Want to ask the court to give me permission to purchase a used backhoe. At the cost of the machine is $66,500. I had a machine go down, at the end of the year, and it's an older machine, and we decided not to fix it, so Warren Cat has offered me $12,000 for that, making it the price of $54,500. The judge, we had also, when that machine went down, Warren Cat had brought us over a machine, and it was supposed to just we're supposed to use for a while till we figured what we were going to do. Well, it took a while to make this purchase, and we leased that machine per month, and on that the total of the lease that we paid was $12,740. So paid to Warren Cat is going to be $41,760. And I put that in a full motion.
So they're gonna apply the lease toward the purchase?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you subtract the lease from the it's $66,500. You subtract the trade, and then you subtract the lease, and the amount paid to Warren Cat is $41,760.
Okay. And the model of the machine that you're buying?
Yes, sir. It's a 2014 model Caterpillar
Yeah.
420F.
420F.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, and what's the hours on that machine?
When Malengo and Precinct 2 took it out, they were right at
2200.
2200.
2200, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
This is gonna have 5,000 warranty.
We were able to put a 3-year, 1,000-hour powertrain and hydraulic warranty coverage on it. So all the expensive items on that machine that could potentially have issues, we have it covered under warranty for 3 years.
Okay. All right, we've heard a motion made by Commissioner Martinez to purchase this 2014 backhoe from Warren Cat at a total cost of $41,760. Does have a 3-year warranty or 1,000-hour warranty included. So, and this would include the trade of his older backhoe. So,
Maybe pay it out of Fund 11.
and so we it might be a permanent improvement, but we're not gonna pay it out. So.
Be mine.
All right, have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Cornell. Any other discussion?
But you gonna pay it out of your reserve, Martin?
No, it's already budgeted.
It's budgeted
It's
for this year.
budgeted.
Okay.
So,
It's budgeted for this year.
all right. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Thank you.
Judge, thank you for having me today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for being here. All right, our next item is, we had a gentleman come to our workshop on Friday named Emmanuel Brown, and he had talked to us about some of a grappling event that he would like to see hosted at the Ollie Liner Center in the future. Due to our situation that we've got going on now, we haven't put any time guidelines or anything on there. So I would say let's take no action on that, and when he's able to schedule that event with Mr. Garcia on availability, and then we'll have him come back and present it to the court and see if that's something we want to do. So, and then the next item we have is a request from the Main Street coordinator here in Plainview, and they're asking for the use of the courthouse square for the Red, White, and Move Festival scheduled July 4th of 2020. And so they've used the square for the last few years. I know they have vendors that set up around the square, and we've had good participation in that event. So I would look for a motion to allow them to do that. The only stipulation that we had stated before, and you might include in your amendment, is that they don't place any type of the entertainment devices like the slides, water slides and things like that on our grass. They're welcome to set those up in the parking lot or in the non-grass area, but to try to keep those things off of our grass. So do I hear a motion to that effect?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Have a motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Any further discussion?
Hopefully the coronavirus will be a thing of the past.
Hopefully by July 4th, we'll be back to life as normal. So, but, all right, if there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And before we adjourn, I'd like for us to recognize Carla Cannon. She came up yesterday and set our room up so that we could have our live stream. And this is something that was sort of brought on by the corona situation, but I think this is going to be a continuing thing that we'll be doing in the future. So, but I appreciate the time and effort that she's put in to getting us. Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Carla.
Thank you, Carla.
I just have one more thing. I failed to get your authorization to, once I get this ready to pay immediately,
Oh, to the city of
so that I
Plainview.
can pay it before our next run if I have to.
Okay, whoever approved that or made a motion to approve that payment, Harold, would you stipulate that in your? And would you stipulate that in your second? Okay. So, so that has been stipulated.
Thank you.
All right. If there's nothing further, then shows to be 10:12 a.m. And
And so we'll stand adjourned. Thank y'all.
Thank you.